This is the CUKTECH 15 Ultra 20,000 mAh power bank. A reliable, well-built, and very fast charging power bank which will provide you with power when you need it. Let's unbox it and go over this cool power bank. So inside the box you have a nice carrying pouch. This way you can carry it with you anywhere you go. A 6 amp USB-C cable. And the power bank itself. This is well built and feels very solid in your hand. It has a plastic housing, but doesn't feel cheap at all. It is a fairly large power bank capacity wise, so it's not going to be very lightweight, but it's not too heavy either. It has a 1.3-inch TFT display, which shows the charging current, real-time data, as well as alerts like temperature warnings and so forth. So when you have a device plugged in, it'll display the data for that port for which the device is plugged into. This has a 10-minute self-charge feature, which will provide you with enough power for all-day usage. With that 10 minutes of charging the power bank, it'll be able to charge an iPhone 15 about 1.2 times. It also does 165 watt max dual port extreme self-charging, which fully charges the 20,000 mAh power bank in 45 minutes when simultaneously plugging in two USB-C power inputs. So basically charging the power bank with two USB-C chargers. Now enough about how fast the power bank itself can be charged. Let's talk about how fast it can charge your devices. This can charge both a single device or multiple devices simultaneously. When charging a single device, on the Type-C number 1 port, it'll offer up to 140 watts output. On the Type-C number 2 port, it'll offer up to 65 watts output and 90 watts for Xiaomi products. And on the USB Type-A port, it'll offer up to 33 watts maximum output. Now if you're charging multiple devices at the same time, you'll get up to 100 watts output on the Type-C port number 1, with Xiaomi devices getting up to 120 watts, 45 watts output on the Type-C number 2 port, with Xiaomi devices getting up to 65 watts, and on the USB Type-A port up to 33 watts UFCS. I'll give you a few examples just to give you an idea on charge times. For an iPhone 16 Pro Max, charging at 38 watts, it should charge the battery around 60% in 30 minutes. For a Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra charging at 45 watts, it should charge the battery about 60 to 62% in 30 minutes. Also laptops like a MacBook Pro 16, charging with 140 watts max, it should charge the battery to around 60 to 62% in half an hour. So this is pretty fast compared to a lot of power banks which don't even come close to this. For example, this Powerstation XL by Mophie. This is also a 20,000 mAh power bank, but only goes up to 20 watts output for the USB-C port, and only 15 watts when multiple devices are connected. It also doesn't have a nice display, showing you the data on the input and output ports, and so forth. The Mophie power bank has a single USB Type-C port and two USB Type-A ports, versus two USB-C ports and one Type-A port on the CUKTECH 15 Ultra. With only 20 watt output on the Mophie power bank, it charges the Infinix Note 50 Pro 1% in 1 minute and 12 seconds. However, when plugging in the CUKTECH 15 Ultra, we can see that it charges the Infinix Note 50 Pro 2% in the same amount of time, so twice as fast. And do keep in mind, if there was a phone plugged in with faster charging capabilities, you would see 4 to 5 times faster charging compared to this Mophie power bank or other similar power banks. The CUKTECH 15 Ultra supports a wide range of fast charging protocols, like UFCS, PD 3.1, and QC charging for broad device compatibility. Now I'll take these power banks apart and take a look at them internally. And make sure the power bank is empty before you attempt this, just in case you accidentally pierce any of the batteries. You want to limit the risk of any fire or hazard. you're basically going to have to break this open. There are 3 Phillips screws on the side where the ports are at, which need to be removed. Here's a look at the housing internally. There looks to be some graphite film on the front in order to help transfer heat. So there are 8 18650 cylindrical lithium-ion batteries, which are attached in parallel together. The display is located here, and the flex cable is attached to the board. There are 6 additional Phillips screws that have to be removed. There's a thick thermal pad in between the board and this metal mid plate, which acts like a heatsink. This basically helps further transfer heat. There are 4 additional Phillips screws which need to be removed. So these cables which are soldered to this board are more than likely temperature sensors. And this USB-C port can be disconnected by pulling it out. There are 2 Phillips screws holding the board and the Mophie power bank down. So underneath these batteries, there are two thick and strong adhesive pads holding them down. So if you're planning on prying this one apart, it's going to take you some time. On this Mophie one, there are two separate batteries attached together to operate as one. This one also has a temperature sensor to detect any overheating with the batteries. However, there aren't any thermal pads to help transfer heat, nor any type of metal heatsink or frame, or any graphite film. So looking at the CUKTECH versus the Mophie power bank, we can definitely see that the CUKTECH one is more sophisticated and advanced, and is able to provide more power output, as well as power input for charging the power bank itself, and definitely has a better cooling system in place. The CUKTECH 15 Ultra has thermal pads, a metal frame and heatsink, as well as some graphite film on the inside of the housing to help transfer heat. This Mophie power bank has neither of those. CUKTECH offers an 18-month quality guarantee warranty for products purchased at official authorized stores, and during this period, replacements will be issued instead of repairs. So that means they won't repair your device, they'll just replace it with a new one. Now after the warranty expires, a paid replacement service is available. They also have a 30-day return policy with no questions asked. The CUKTECH 15 Ultra really is an awesome power bank with super fast charging, both for charging phones and charging itself. Also with that display which gives you important data for you to actually see the power output, it really stands out against a lot of these power banks. If you're interested in purchasing a power bank which takes it to the next level, gives you all day power and charges your devices really quickly, then I recommend you take a look at the CUKTECH 15 Ultra. I'll place links in the description for anyone who's interested, and I'll see you in the next video.